The story begins with an adventure party engaged in a fierce battle against an incredibly strong and high-level monster. Its level was nearly 70. One of the party members, a swordmaster, says, "This is a monster from a high-difficulty dungeon, the wingless dragon, Sebarumus." The scene then shifts to show the dragon, covered in fiery flames, looking extremely powerful as the adventurers are pushed back. At the critical moment, the dragon is about to release its deadly flame to kill all the adventurers. The adventurers are filled with fear, unsure if their defensive skills will be enough to block the attack. But just then, something happens that astonishes them. A goblin appears, standing in front of the dragon. The adventurers wonder, what's a goblin doing in front of the dragon? At the same moment, the dragon unleashes its fire. But the most interesting part is that the goblin attacks as well. In a single strike, the dragon is crushed, leaving only its lower body behind. The adventurers are left stunned, wondering how a monster could attack another monster. They speculate that the goblin might be a summoned creature. As they ponder this, one member of the party points to a figure standing on a hill and says, "Look over there! It's that guy! He's the one who summoned the goblin!" As you might have guessed, it's the protagonist of our story. In the next scene, we see the protagonist, a man doing labor work. It's none other than the same guy. Other people talk about him saying, "Did something good happen to him?" He's actually smiling while working. Ignoring them, the protagonist thinks to himself, "I'm a goblin. I'm obviously a weakling. I belong in a low-level dungeon, a being that can never get out of a low-level dungeon." While there are instances of people winning the lottery and becoming super rich overnight, a goblin will always be a goblin, no matter how much experience it gets. The protagonist overhears some workers talking about someone who had been playing the game Heaven's Door and suddenly got a hidden class and became rich overnight. He begins to explain what Heaven's Door is, a virtual reality game that has recently become very popular. The experience in the game feels so real that it makes people forget about the real world. The technology is so advanced that the machines are expensive, but thanks to countless internet cafes, the protagonist can enjoy the game easily. With the demand for it growing, real-world money started flowing into the game. In-game items became real-world currency, and Heaven's Door became a true game-changer. The protagonist also used to enjoy playing the game at first. The scene changes, and we see the protagonist mining ores. The system window shows the skills and ores the protagonist has obtained. Suddenly, the protagonist goes crazy, complaining that he hasn't found anything and is drowning in debt. He laments, "Where's the part where I become the legendary hero and get married?" Just then, the protagonist mines an advanced healing crystal worth 300,000 won. He's in shock, licking the crystal shamelessly and laughing, "This is why I mine! Ha 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 ha!" At that moment, a beautiful lady approaches the protagonist with her team. While licking the crystal, the protagonist notices her and begins to lust after her. She asks, "Your mining skills must be high, right?" The protagonist hesitates and replies, "Yeah, sort of. What's going on?" The lady explains that they were running through a dungeon, but their path was blocked by rocks, so they need the protagonist's help. The protagonist, however, makes it clear that his level is too low to safely enter the dungeon. But then one member of the ladies' team, a dwarf, says that they will take care of the monsters, and the protagonist only needs to follow them and mine ores. The protagonist thinks to himself that if he joins the party, he could share experience points and maybe get high-level ores. However, he's also worried about his safety and wonders if he'll make it back alive. Just then, the lady grabs his hand, trying to seduce him. He hastily agrees, even though he wanted to say no. Once inside the dungeon, the protagonist realizes that the monster levels are much lower than expected. Guys, from now on, I'll refer to the protagonist as Jack. So Jack is surrounded by creepy wolves. He realizes that his level is lower than theirs. One of the wolves attacks him, and Jack, unable to do anything, calls out to his mom. Suddenly the lady tells Jack, "Don't move," and uses her skill, Salamander Flame, to kill the wolves. Afterward, she asks Jack if he's all right. A system window pops up, showing the lady's name, Catherine Lee, a level 39 magician. Jack thanks her, still in shock at her power. Afterward, Catherine expresses concern for Jack, warning him that the dungeon is too dangerous for someone of his level. Jack, misinterpreting her concern, starts imagining that she wants him to stay by her side forever. As he thinks this, he makes a strange expression, one that's hard to explain. One of Catherine's team members casually says, "Don't be so surprised. We're not here to play around." The other team members swiftly kill all the wolves in seconds. The system window pops up, showing the name of the adventurer, Giant Wheel Swing. He explains that they came to check what's inside a suspicious ore that can only be mined with high-level mining skills. They skipped this dungeon before because it required a high level of mining, and investing points in mining skills felt like a waste. That's why they needed help from people like Jack. After hearing this, Jack realizes they've been treating him like an idiot. He angrily says, "You think I don't have combat skills?" Jack grabs his mining tool and spins it in the air, thinking he's about to attack the adventurer. But instead, he mines the rock in anger, frustrated that he has no combat skills and is being looked down upon. It's just another boring day for Jack. As Jack mines in frustration, he strikes a rock and uncovers a hidden treasure. He shouts, "We found the hidden dungeon! We could get rewards!" But the atmosphere quickly becomes tense. Catherine says, "We?" Just then, Giant Wheel Swing attacks Jack from behind. The system window shows PK mode activated, and Jack falls to the ground in front of Catherine and the dwarf. Catherine curses, "Damn it! It's so hard to find this hidden dungeon in this low-level area, and it even needs mining skills to access it?" She tells Jack, "Don't feel bad about this. After all, we did all the fighting, and you just tagged along." Jack realizes they were the ones who attacked him. He thinks, "Cowards. They knew about the hidden dungeon from the start." Just then, Giant Wheel Swing grabs Jack by the hair and says, "Of course we knew, you moron. You think we'd waste time for fun, but you helped a little, so I'll make it quick for you." He kills Jack. Suddenly, Jack opens his eyes again, realizing he's still inside the dungeon. They didn't kill me. Maybe they had some decency? Then he sees that the crystal he was holding has been crushed, and a system window appears. Advanced healing. Crystal revives a player with 100% HP when HP hits 0. Jack exclaims, "I died and came back. My 300,000 won. You bastards." Seeing that the dungeon door is still open, Jack realizes that the dungeon hasn't been cleared yet. He decides to go after the hidden dungeon and seek his revenge. He jumps inside but falls on the stairs, hitting his head. Fortunately, he doesn't die from the fall and enters the hidden dungeon. When he looks up, he sees a giant goblin statue sitting on a throne. The system window pops up. Hidden dungeon, goblin shrine. Jack exclaims, "This place is huge. What's with that smug goblin on the throne?" He wonders if there are only goblins here. Jack begins to search for the others, wondering where they went. He suddenly steps on something and looks down. He's shocked to see the dwarf, half dead and gasping for breath. The dwarf sends a message to Jack asking, "Can you use a revive skill?" Jack replies, "There's no such skill." The dwarf seems to be holding off on using the revive button, hoping not to miss the hidden dungeon. Jack thinks, he's so greedy. At that moment, the system window pops up with a warning. "This is a high-difficulty dungeon far beyond your level. Please exit immediately." Jack is frightened. Suddenly, Jack hears a scream. He turns around to see a huge monster holding Catherine and her team. He thinks, "Isn't this the Goblin Shrine?" The monster's name appears on the screen, Geiger, level 80. Jack thinks, "What the hell is that monster?" The monster devours Giant Wheel Swing in front of Jack, and Jack can't stop himself from vomiting. He thinks, the worst-case scenario is happening. The story then explains the mechanics of Heaven's Door. It's not just a game. It's a full immersion experience that includes a sense of touch and sometimes pain. The game even includes a safety system to prevent damage from low-level monsters. But being hit by a monster dozens of levels higher can cause real pain and trauma. This can lead to brain death or actual death, a phenomenon known as shock-induced retirement. The scene shifts to show Catherine, now captured by the monster, asking Jack for help. Jack, drenched in sweat and fear, says, "Like hell I'll save you. What the hell can I do against that thing?" Jack runs away, thinking, I can't let that thing take me down. They were the ones who abandoned me. This isn't my fault. I'm weak, so of course I'm no help. He decides to survive, even if he has to do it alone. However, his expression is a confusing mix of laughing and crying as he runs.
Suddenly, a system window pops up from the Goblin Lord. The Goblin Lord feels a sense of kinship with your cowardice and weakness. Jack thinks to himself, I'm weak and cowardly. He then speaks to the Goblin Lord. You think I want to be like this? You think I chose to be powerless? If I had even a shred of strength, I wouldn't have run. I wanted a proper job where I wouldn't be looked down on by others. I wanted to defeat monsters, not mine rocks like everyone else. I couldn't do anything because of the debt my unknown parents left behind. Why should I be insulted for that? Who are you to look down on me from your throne? You're just a goblin, for God's sake. Fine. I've been looked down on both in real life and in-game. And now a goblin feels sorry for me? Fine. I'm a goblin. So what? The system windows begin to pop up. You are now an honorary goblin. Goblins will assist you at any time. Finally, the system window asks, would you like to change your class to the hidden class Goblin Summoner? Jack, in disbelief, says, are you kidding me? I reject it. Fuck. But even as Jack rejects the offer, the system responds, class change complete. You are now a goblin. With the class change complete, Jack sees the monster approaching. He realizes it's too late to run now. He has no choice but to summon a goblin. He calls out, Goblin, come forth. A flashy summoning effect appears as the goblin materializes. Jack thinks, what a weak-looking goblin. He initially plans to use the goblin as bait to escape, even telling the goblin, go forth, goblin, defeat him. As the monster charges, Jack begins to run. But to his surprise, the goblin defeats the monster with a single attack. Jack, unable to comprehend what just happened, watches in astonishment as his experience points rise. The system window shows, you have learned new skills, Feed Goblin and Walk Goblin. The summons experience increases as well. Jack is stunned. This weak-looking goblin is actually max level? And that's the end of the first chapter. Let's see what happens in next chapter.